CSR, Le Bleu, prologue. I'm sorry, I have no respect for the French language, so I never learned how to pronounce it, so that's my best guess. You can see it on screen anyways, you know what I'm talking about. The title track, Pretty Mob, starts somewhat slowly with this vintage-sounding instrumental working with a light trap beat in the verse. The chorus is also a bit underwhelming. When I think of CSR's title tracks, I think of really bright, energetic songs that instantly hook a listener. I'm not against the group experimenting with their sound a little bit, especially because I think I see the vision of a slower, slightly lazier track to stave off the summer heat. The end product just doesn't work. It feels, dare I say, kind of half-assed, which really is a shame because they're coming into the comeback with a lot of new eyes on them following the members' stints on Trong Asia, so a really strong title track could have boosted the group's success in a major way. As it is, though, both songs on the single feel like first or second drafts, because like Hello also wasn't impressive to me. Hello feels like a weaker product than their prior songs. The mixing is rougher, with the members' voices sounding incredibly fragile, especially at those high-pitched hellos. The chorus also doesn't really have a clear hook, nor are there any other killing parts that could grab a listener's attention. I think both songs are just deeply underwhelming, which really is a shame, because I was really looking forward to this comeback. I thought they could pull it off.
Sitting on a dash, she a rock star. Make your favorite singer wanna rap. Baby la la Lisa, can you teach me Japanese? I said hi, that's my life, baby, I'm a rock star.
Lisa, rock star. Okay, so I appreciate that the single has writing credits from Lisa. I appreciate that this is a very important release for her. It's her first solo song under her own company and all that. And I appreciate that there are some elements of the song that are a bit more experimental than what we've come to expect from Blackpink and their solo projects. However, I don't think I'm impressed. The song is incredibly catchy. I've been mumbling that La La Lisa, can you teach me Japanese part to myself more than I'd like to admit. I also really like the dance break part. I think it sounds super cool. As a whole song, though, I don't like it. Aside from the dance break, it's boring for me to listen to. The lyrics are also not doing anything interesting as far as I can tell. I'm not surprised that I'm not feeling it. I didn't really like her solo debut either, but it is still disappointing to not enjoy such a highly anticipated release. As a whole, good for her. I hope she gets to work with producers and songwriters that push her even further out of her comfort zone, because I know she can pull off so much more than a typical bad bitch concept. But if she doesn't want to push herself musically that much, that's fine. I mean, clearly this is working for her, even if it doesn't work for me. Primrose Revival. So Freya is definitely closer to their debut than Laffy Taffy was, which sucks for me, I guess, because I strongly preferred Laffy Taffy. I don't know this group that well, so is their concept that they're like going to oscillate between darker and lighter songs, or is their company just confused? I don't know. The song itself is basically exactly what you'd expect from a dark concept song from a group with a limited budget. There's a nice composition, especially in the bridge, but the rest of the song feels like it's collapsing in on itself. The mixing is slightly rough as well, which definitely doesn't help such a heavy chorus. With a slightly higher budget, the song probably could have been more listenable, but as it is, it's too rough for me. Island, Slippery. This is a really fun, quirky K-pop song. The opening verse is really fun and fast-paced. The pre-chorus is alright, I guess, but I'm not the biggest fan of the anti-drop in the chorus. It was predictable, and I much preferred the heightened energy of the second half of the chorus. Overall, I think the song is a fun listen, but I think it would have played better in 2019 when a quirky teen crush sound like this was more appreciated. Blitzers, Lunchbox. I was kind of surprised with how quickly this was released because in my mind they were literally just on Britain's Got Talent, so either they were already working on this prior to their audition or they just like whipped this up really quickly. And I'll be honest, to me it feels a little bit musically like it was whipped up really quickly. I'm not really feeling it that much. The title track Superpower is like more fun, goofy K-pop from Blitzers. It's got a bouncy beat, fun rhythms in the verses, and a squeaky, I'm assuming that's also a synth, in the chorus. The song plays with the listener a little bit, like the way it pulls back a bit to build up anticipation for the second chorus. It's a good continuation of Macarena, but I think it's got slightly less charm than that song. I'll be honest, I don't think any of the B-sides bear mentioning. They're all just fine. I think it makes sense altogether, even the two English songs, considering their recent stint on Britain's Got Talent. But I think as a whole, they could have probably put a little bit more effort on like the musical production side into this album if they were looking to, I guess, like recapture that attention that they got from their stint there.
I'm fine. 네가 뭐라 하던 됐어 다 fine. 다른 길을 헤맨대던 그때
Hong Sung-joon, I'm. Fine is a nice ballad. It suits his voice and he's good at emoting. The song is well made with a strong instrumental that builds up with the emotions of the song but never feels like it's overpowering the vocals. The other track, To You, is more of an acoustic ballad with a softer instrumental compared to Fine. Is this single as a whole my thing? Not really. Once again, I'm not really looking for new ballads, but I still like it, and honestly, I'm just really happy to hear him sing again. I missed it. Craxy, Re. The single's title track, Stupids, is maybe one of my favorites that I've heard from Craxy so far. I love the way the song sets itself up with the verses and pre-chorus. It's similar to what I've heard Craxy attempt to do in the past, but this is the cleanest execution I think I've ever seen from them. The raps and the verses are well done, and I really like the beats used in the song. The chorus also isn't as loud as I expect from them, and I think it gets away with all of the repetition because of how full the verses were. In a way, the repetition gives you a bit of a break while also being very catchy and fun to listen to. It's not their most ambitious title track, but it might be one of my favorites. I was very pleasantly surprised by it. As far as B-sides, Daisy was a bit boring for me, well made but nothing special, whereas Crazy Racer was more interesting. It starts out as a kind of chill hip-hop track before the typical Craxy in-your-face metallic electro elements appear in the chorus. I really like the rap parts of the song, especially in the second verse, but the chorus isn't for me. Overall, I'd say it was a very solid comeback for them. b.d.u, Wish Pool. This is very standard K-pop to me. There's a decent variety in terms of the sounds of the songs, but all the songs display the members' vocals in some way, but none of them feel like something I would only be able to find from b.d.u. I think they could probably gain a bit more attention just for their capabilities as performers, not just vocalists, with songs like AU rather than My One. My One, the title track, is a summery, sweet, sentimental boy band song. I do love to see it on occasion. It's a very standard pop song in terms of concept, composition, lyrics, etc., but it's well made, and I think it's a good attempt at showing off their vocals without just giving them a straight-up ballad. I don't think I'll listen to it much outside of this specific summer. It just doesn't have that much of a draw for me, but I could definitely see myself becoming very sentimental about My One in a couple of years. The B-sides, Everlasting Miracle and Forget All, were kind of boring for me. Everlasting Miracle is a ballad that's good, I guess, and Forget All has a synth drop that makes it stand out a bit from the other songs, but it's still not really doing that much for me. My favorite song by far was the last one, AU. It's a fun track. It's got a groove created by its bass, and it allows the members to showcase vocals and rap in styles that emphasize the fun characteristics of their vocals. Jay especially stands out a lot on the song to me. It's really fun to listen to this as a song, like, swings from higher to lower energy through the instrumental and vocals. I honestly wish that this had been the title track. I wouldn't have stopped listening to it, and I hope they release more songs in this style in the future.
You make me better. 또다시 외로이지 않았던 나의 숨을 쉬게 하는 것 사라지게 하는 법도
Umuji, You Make Me Better. It's another ballad from him. The song's instrumental isn't super involved for the first part of the song, but it's really atmospheric, creating kind of deep soundscape that places the listener underwater for a little bit while he sings. He's got a fairly light voice, so the depth of the instrumental complements him really well, and the mixing is good enough that it doesn't drown him out either. By the end, the emotions and the instrumental swell together, creating a complete journey for the listener. It's still just kind of in the middle for me, as far as rankings go, because I am currently not really looking for more ballads. It is a good song though, and I am proud of him. Ghost 9, Awesome Day. As far as I'm aware, Ghost 9 haven't really attempted a bright concept like this since Up All Night in 2021, so this was fun, even if I did start paying attention to them because of their noisier songs. The song is still fun though, with a laid-back groove to back up the main melody. It's definitely less attention-grabbing or polished than some of their other title tracks, but I'm willing to forgive that because I have a sneaking suspicion that this comeback was cobbled together after the company realized that Prince's videos cooking food behind his manager's back were giving the group a lot of new attention. I can't fault the company for trying to capitalize on that attention with a song that's more general public friendly than the group's usual stuff, I guess. Spia, Deep. Considering the fact that I low-key hated their debut, Daddy's Little Girl, this group had nowhere to go but up, and I do think that Deep is definitely a big improvement. For one thing, the song doesn't hurt to listen to. It's a very chill house song, not super in your face, but something nice to put on in the background while doing chores. The mixing has improved, and while the song feels a bit typical for its genre, it's still nice. I also feel like it suits the members' voices more, they don't feel as pushy. I'm just happy that it seems that they abandoned whatever they did in their debut. I much prefer this. Candy Shop, Girls Don't Cry. The main title track, as far as I'm aware, Don't Cry, is definitely better than Good Girl in my opinion. The song has a nice strong beat to carry it through the verses and synths that stay for the whole song to give it a slightly dreamy feeling. It even has these little sparkly effects in the chorus that really cement that magical feeling. Aside to just sounding nicer to me than Good Girl, I also feel like the song is catchier and easier to dance to than their debut, which is often what I want from K-pop title tracks. I'm happy to see the improvement. Tumblr has more synths, but with less of a force behind the song pushing you to dance to it. It's nice, but I don't think I'll return to it. Welcome to My World is also just fine. Overall, I think it is an improvement as a whole, but still not really something that I'm super drawn to as a group, so I'm kind of accepting that this group just isn't going to be for me, you know? Trends, Dreamlike. I'd say that the title track, Glow, is a pretty standard summer song with a nice groove from the bass and a catchy melody. It has some nice strings to create a slightly disco feel in the chorus. I wouldn't be surprised if the producers were inspired by Dua Lipa's Dance the Night, because that's the first song I thought of in relation to this one. The rap is fun to listen to as well, and it feels like it continues the flow of the song rather than interrupt it. Overall, it's a very danceable song. Out of Control is then closer to the noisier sound I associated with trends around their debut, except with a slightly better execution. I am occasionally a sucker for a chanted, almost yelled chorus, but this song isn't really hitting for me. Maybe because of the mixing or something, I don't know. Learn to Love is the ballad of the album. It's pretty fine. And then finally, Go Up, the live band version, is a really fun arrangement of an already pretty fun song. My main critique of the original version of Go Up was that it felt a bit generic, and while the band arrangement isn't super innovative or anything, I think it gives the song a little bit of extra oomph that it needed. I'd say that the mini-album is ultimately underwhelming, not my thing as a whole, but I did enjoy Glow as a title track. It's not as good as New Days from last year, but it's a pretty close second in terms of Trend's discography. Han Sung-woo, Scene. I don't know if I quite like the title track Blooming enough. I feel like the song attempts to put some power into his voice, especially in the chorus, but I don't think it necessarily suits his tone. He sounds great on the verses and pre-chorus, which are slightly lighter, but the chorus feels a bit forced. The flower motif is maybe a bit trite, but it's still a nice idea, and it gives the single a lot to work with conceptually, as well as some nice lyrics, especially in the outro, which is the strongest part of the song. The strings, the chorus singing, it's all really nice together. Lost was the song on the single that I really enjoyed. It's a song that really makes you sit and think, damn, who hurt him? And the lyrics talk about a lover who left him and the intense loneliness and loss of that kind of feeling. I mean, the lyrics in the chorus, even your blurred image torments me, I loved you so madly, really convey such a strong regret and loss. The guitar in the chorus really carries the angst of the song to another level. Even on his mini album from last year, his rock songs were the ones that I enjoyed the most, so I wish that he would one day utilize one of them as a title track instead of relegating them to be B-sides, because they are seriously so good. Stay is an acoustic track to close the single about the growth the speaker himself has to make in order to improve. The song is melancholy in sound, with the lyrics conveying a sense of regret but also some hope for the future. I think it closes the album really well. Overall, bit mediocre. I'd say I like the lyrics, but sound-wise, aside from Lost, none of the songs do that much for me. Yulin, Satellite. Unlike her debut, Really Like You, which was lighter and sweeter, the song hits harder with a lot more heavy emotions in her vocals, especially in the chorus. Her voice has a quite clear quality to it, even when she's pushing out some of the higher notes in the chorus. I don't think I like Satellite quite as much as her debut, which had an instantly addictive quality, but this is a very good addition to her small discography, and it shows that she's not a one-trick pony. Hopefully her next release is an EP or an album where she gets to show even more versatility. Triple S Glow, Inner Dance. I know that Triple S, like most newer girl groups, have been getting New Jeans copycat accusations since Generation, but this is the closest that they've gotten to that, like soft song with a stuttering beat sound that I personally really associate with New Jeans. It makes sense to me that they're going this route, considering that they released Girls Never Die so recently, which is a song with a much deeper and darker sound, so this brighter, softer, more minimalist song stops the group's constant releases from feeling too samey or boring, I guess. My favorite part of the song is probably that outro, where the fast synth suddenly appears with lower vocals in the background. The song as a whole isn't going to become my favorite Triple S track, I'm not that into the sound, but I do like it and I will be introducing my sister to it because I know that she loves these kinds of songs.
Pom pom, I'm cheering me on. Ain't nobody is rooting for me, guess at least one. Pom pom, my game is mad strong. 이 큰 게임의 주인공은 only me.
Ooh, Unframed. I think I like this album more on paper than I do listening to it, which is, I think, primarily the fault of the choice of title track. We'll just go in chronological order for the songs. The first track, I'll Tell You, is really good. I like how much the bass is highlighted in the instrumental. The vocals are chanted and sassy, which matches the attitude of the bass riff as well. The song then transitioned to a smoother synth-based sound for the pre-chorus before turning again to something more sparse but different from the verse for the short chorus. The song definitely is quirky in its structure and the constant change-ups, and supports the meaning of the lyrics. The song very clearly tells the listener what Woo-ah brings to the table in terms of fun, eclectic K-pop. It's fun, although I do like the chorus the least out of all the desperate parts, which isn't exactly ideal. Track 2, Polaroid, honestly, just doesn't stick out to me, sorry. Like I said, for me the real problem child of the album was Pom 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 though. With a grand opening that reappears for the pre-chorus, the song certainly knows how to build hype. The chorus keeps the hype going pretty well, with some electric guitars and confident line delivery. Honestly, the only place where the song lost me was the first verse. The sudden emptiness was jarring after the intro and didn't transition well into the pre-chorus. The second verse keeps some of the chorus's guitars, so that transition is slightly less awkward. Additionally, I don't think that the girls' voices really suit the song. They pull the bridge off pretty well, but they feel drowned out in the heaviness of the chorus. I definitely see the vision for the song, and the final product is still fun to listen to, I guess, but I think the execution of the song wasn't the best that it could have been for me, and it also, to me, doesn't match the vibe presented by the album as a whole. It feels a little bit... I think the only song that it really matches is the first track, I'll Tell You. Anyways, Blush is a song that I've grown to love more and more since its release. It's really become one of my favorite girl group songs of the year. It's pretty chill, especially compared to the title track, but it's still really fun to listen to and it gets stuck in your head ridiculously easily. It's not trying to do a whole lot, unlike Pom Pom Pom, which seems to be throwing everything at the walls. Instead, Blush is just well executed and knows that it's an indisputable bop, even with its simplicity. Girls Love Boys. Honestly, if not Blush, I think this is the song I would have picked as the title track, just because of the whole mess surrounding it. So this song is the Woo-ah version of the song Boys Love Girls Love Boys, released by their brother group Diamond last month. The song was my favorite Daimon song, and I remember saying something along the lines of it reminding me of Blush, so maybe I should have anticipated that their company would pull this move, but I haven't seen the company having one song go to two groups in a while. The only example that I can think of off the top of my head of this kind of thing happening was Chocolate Love by Girls' Generation and FX, which happened ever ago. I do really like the song Girls Love Boys, naturally, since I really like the version released by Daimon. It's a great teen pop song, Jesus, okay, sorry, with a catchy chant and a fun instrumental that some video game-like sounds in it to add to its quirkiness. The song's little interlude with the girls' soft vocals layered on top of each other in the instrumental is especially good. It's so satisfying to listen to. The reason that I would have picked this out as the title track is firstly because I think it matches Blush a lot more, and secondly because, Boys Love Girls Love Boys was the title track for Daimon's single, and I just think if you're going to have these two groups do the same song, both songs should get the same amount of promotion, and they should be, really pitted against each other. And I'm not saying that to pit the groups against each other necessarily, because I already know the fandoms are doing that, but, what's the point of doing this if you're not going to go for a direct comparison of two title tracks, you know? So that's why I would have picked it, and also because I like it more than the actual title track. So yeah, overall, I did like over half of the songs. We're at 3 out of 5 songs that I like, but I think why would I listen to this as a mini album when I could just listen to the songs separately, you know?
Cause it's not love, it's just a new distraction. Self-sabotage, it seems like it never happened. In his dirty apartment.
Alexa, Distraction. Woo, we get more pop rock from Alexa. Her voice on the song particularly really reminds me of some pop punk songs I heard in the 2010s with female singers, especially in that "but I really was just okay with settling" line, very 2015 Hey Violet for me, you know? The fast pace and upbeat melody makes the song a lot more energetic and fun to listen to than Sick from earlier this year. Even though this song is also about a breakup, it makes you almost excited to break up with your shitty boyfriend, so it's a success in that sense. It's not doing anything particularly special, there's a million songs like this one out, but it's a sound that I have a major soft spot for, and I think it's executed pretty well here. Super Junior, Showtime. This is a very typical modern Super Junior track with a lot of fanfare. Some bass, some brassy synth, strong vocals, strong hook. You know the deal. I hate to admit it as much as most other international K-pop stans, but Super Junior's title track discography is pretty fucking good. Their rap verse, however, is delivered in a douchey enough way that I can be reminded of who I'm listening to. My hater energy does have to take a bow to a bop, no matter how predictable it is as a track. So here's my final, as unbiased as possible summary of the song. It's a good time, but nothing that's going to surprise you a lot if you've heard most of Super Junior's post, maybe Black Suit title tracks. It's not going on any of my playlists, but I'm not going to blame you for putting it on yours.
Yes, sir.
Jimin featuring Loco, Smeraldo Garden Marching Band. Okay, so this is very obviously a step in a different direction from his debut mini-album last year. This song isn't sleek and sexy, it's bright and soft in sound. Is Jimin entering his Pretty Odd era? I wouldn't be mad about that. That is my favorite Panic album. I mean, maybe the aesthetic for the track video and title of the song is forcing some expectations in my mind that I wouldn't have otherwise, because I was expecting a more prominent marching band or even folk band sound for the duration of the song instead of just for the outro. This minimalist pop hip-hop sound is a lot less interesting sonically, but it matches his voice, I guess. It's a good song, good, fun vibes, but it does leave me wanting more. Nevertheless, I am still very curious about how this upcoming mini-album is going to sound if this is our first taste.
Boy, I got a small girl fantasy. Baby, would you still love me? Though I got a big love, big voice, and big personality, would you guarantee?
Lee Young-ji, 16 Fantasy. This feels like a project deeply steeped in her personal life and insecurities. It's overall pretty chill in tone, but it's impossible not to notice how much these songs seem to mean to her. I feel like I really got to get to know a lot more about her than her usual public persona displays, which I appreciate. My favorite track was definitely the lead single Small Girl featuring Kyungsoo of EXO. I like the way it addresses her insecurities and the way that people view her. It's true that women are often punished for making themselves larger, for taking up more space than they should. Like, yeah, she's right, she has a point. And the song's nice to listen to on top of its important message. It's a small song, a little acoustic type track with this high-pitched tiny voice in the background of the hook. I like it as a whole, and I like Kyungsu's feature. He sounds great with anyone. ADHD is a very similar song to Small Girl in my opinion. It's another chill song about her insecurities, which, oh god, that's a horrible way to summarize it. I like the instrumental of the song a lot, it's cute. My Cat was also a favorite. It's a cute, lighthearted hip-hop track. It's got this kind of trippy beat in the background that I like. It creates a kind of uncomfortable atmosphere, but I think it's interesting. Overall, I think I really had nothing to expect from the song because I don't listen to her, like, at all. I just checked this out because of Kyungsu, but I enjoyed it.
Tell me what is L-O-V-E, I don't know. L-O-V-E, if you know. Tell me what is L-O-V-E, I don't know.
Lim Youngmin, Love. I'll be honest, the first 3 songs on the EP are all very similar to me sonically. Love, the title track, moves a lot faster than it should, like he's just rushing past his confusion and his questions for a quick answer. For such a low-key song, its pace still leaves you kind of breathless by the end. I do like it. The first track, Doubt Me, is fast-paced as well, like a rhythm game song, honestly, with its fast beat and synths running in the background of his more relaxed vocals. Track 3, Nowhere, is similar to the other two, fast-paced, low-key vocals. The last track, Romantic, featuring Vincent Blue, is the only one that I found significantly different. It brings a bit of more R&B to the album, as well as lighter vocals from Vincent Blue to contrast the heavier quality of Youngmin's voice. Overall, I think I like it more than his debut EP, even if the songs are similar. I think just stylistically it matches more with what I want to hear right now. Great guys, change. Honestly, good on this group for continuing to go on in the industry. For those not in the know, this comeback is the first for them after a significant lineup change, with 5 members, I believe, leaving the group earlier this year. I'm always glad to see a lesser-known group continue on, even if they're not a group I personally stan. Anyways, the song on the single, I Love You, features a lot of brass in the instrumental, with accompanying drums and some bass that I can hear. It's a very high-energy and fun song and a good energy booster. I'm not an expert on their discography, but the song does match a little bit with what I heard on their prior songs Deep in Love and Love Love Love, so at least their music can stay a little bit consistent even if the members don't. That sounds like a drag. It's not meant to be a drag, sorry. Wiki Miki, Coincidestiny. That one day of excitement for the Wiki Miki comeback, followed by the absolute dread that came after learning that this would be their disbandment song, sent me in such a state of shock that I was non-functional for at least half a day. Wiki Miki was never my number 1 girl group, but they are a group that I've been a fan of basically since I first got into K-pop like 5 years ago, so this hurts. It's frustrating to see their treatment both by their company and by the general public. I am simultaneously incredibly hurt by this outcome, but also kind of relieved that it's over. That 3-year limbo was excruciating as a fan, but must have been even more frustrating for the members. The song itself is very well made, if a bit basic in its construction. It's got some nice synths in the back of everything to create a dreamy effect. The mixing at the Coincidestiny parts could have been a bit cleaner, I think. The lyrics are very sentimental, which makes sense with the song's purpose. I feel like the song is a good continuation of what they were doing on the IME mini-album, which is still one of my favorite girl group mini-albums ever. Anyways, I wish the girls nothing but the best in their future endeavors, whether they stay in the industry or return to civilian lives. Thank you for these incredible years together.
This jealousy got me, I just can't shake it, no. Don't wanna push too hard, 'cause I might just break it.
Rocky, blank. I mean, this is definitely an improvement on his debut EP. I have an easier time distinguishing the songs, and all the songs feel fuller and better developed. I was really pleasantly surprised. The first track, We Still Love You, is kind of pop rock. It's got a band instrumental, but in a chill way. It sounds great. I'm glad he didn't go for something super intense. I think the softer sound of the song suits his voice really well. Jealousy, the title track, is also really nice. As fun as Lucky Rocky was, I think this slightly sleeker sound is a better fit for him as a soloist, at least for now. The song reminds me a bit of Monsta X for some reason, like their B-sides from like the late 2010s, early 2020s maybe. I swear it's not just because they also have a song called Jealousy, but I think that this specific brand of sexy K-pop is very Monsta X to me. There are parts of Jealousy, especially in the chorus, where Rocky sounds a little bit strained, but I think he overall sounds very good on the track, and he does a great job pulling off the concept in his performances. Track 3, Masterpiece, is a way better shot at a funky concept than his solo debut was. The song is a lot fuller and less empty feeling than the songs on Rocky's. It's a fun song to listen to, it's groovy, it's got a fun instrumental, and Rocky's delivery is perfect for the confident, kind of sassy feeling. The final track, Redo, fulfills the quota for a powerful, emotional song on the EP. It's good, especially in that pre-chorus, but aside from that, I'd say it's the most, fine song on the EP. That pre-chorus does hit, though. I love the rolling drums. Anyways, like I said, I really like this EP. I think Rocky's improving and finding a sound that suits him as a soloist. Junghan x Wonwoo, This Man. Words cannot express how much Junghan's voice suits the sensual Latin pop vibe of Last Night. I suddenly completely understand any sailor ever lured in by a siren at sea. Won was also doing a great job, but Junghan's just killing me. I think the drop is a cool choice, and it definitely makes the song more, K-pop feeling, I guess, but I kind of would have liked to see them do, a Latin pop song all the way through. The specific synth riff gets tiring after 3 iterations. I wish it was changed up a bit each time if it had to be included. I feel like the song could have been developed a little bit more to make it more interesting, but it is still a really good listen, and I think it was a good choice for the two of them. I was kind of surprised to hear it the first time. Junghan's solo, Beautiful Monster, is a sparse pop song. It's mostly just guitar and beat behind Junghan's vocals, and it's nice for late nights. Leftover, Wonwoo solo, is a nice ballad. Wonwoo's vocals are very soft for the verses, but the power he puts in them for the chorus makes him sound almost like a rock singer. And now I just need Wonwoo on an 80s style rock song for my mental health, I think overall this was a very good debut, but I think I would have liked a mini album more to flesh it out more. I like the ideas on the single, especially in the title track, so I want more of them. So Young, My Sea, My Universe. This is a ballad with a more understated instrumental that suits the soft quality of her voice. It's not super quiet and definitely not boring, but I would definitely say that it's very relaxed, with a nice comforting quality from So Young's singing and those bell-like sounds in the instrumental. It's not something I'm going to listen to very often, but it's really well made, and when it hits, it really hits. When I went to listen to it, it's got this almost magical quality to it that I absolutely adore.
너는 내 모든 곳에 있어 매일 내 맘속을 헤집어놔.
You Kiss, let's get started. I really enjoyed this mini album overall, I think. The title track Stay With Me is a sentimental song, different from their title track that they released for their comeback last year, which makes me a bit worried, but maybe that's just paranoia. It's well made, the kind of stuff you get from a group that knows they can sing, It lets them showcase their technique and ability to emote pretty well. Best of all, though, it's a showcase of a pretty fucking sick electric guitar for the song's final act, which I love. Like I said, though, the sentimentality is worrying me a little bit. I liked all of the B-sides, I think. Track 1, Love Is You, is a bright dance pop track with a bit of a groove behind the melody. I just like it a lot, but it's not really different from anything else in its style for me to have that many thoughts on it. Beautiful You Are is a ballad, it's sweet, it's fine, I don't have any other thoughts on it either. To me, the main highlight of the album is definitely Man Man Honey, or Am I Too Easy 2024 version. It just kind of overshadows the other songs on the mini for me because it is still such an absolute fucking banger, I think over a decade since its initial release. The only track that really comes close to me, in my opinion, is Morse Code, which is a true second-gen style techno banger. I can truly imagine the song being released in this form in 2012, and that piano run at the end, chef's kiss. She's a classic at heart, and I love that for her.
It is love, you took my eyes, oh baby, oh I know.
Young, Traveling Fish. It Is Love is the only new song on the single. Drive 5 and Happy Birthday were both released last year, I believe, but I'll talk about all 3 songs. I like It Is Love a lot. It's pretty sweet and simple, good for mornings or lazy afternoons. It's not super energetic or anything, but it's still upbeat enough to give me some energy and good vibes when I need them. Drive 5 is a lot moodier than It Is Love, with a slower tempo but a more intense chorus. Happy Birthday is also on the moodier side, but with less anger apparent in the sound of the song. It's got this feeling of regret, but also some level of acceptance of the outcome of the breakup. He's aware of how his partner moved on, but he's still remembering things like her birthday. He's still kind of stuck in the past, and I like how he communicates that in the song. Overall, it's a nice little single. It's cute, it's simple, it's sweet, I like it.
Take out without feeling.
Bad Villain, Overstep. I think that there's some good stuff here, music-wise and talent-wise, especially in the title song Bad Villain, but I think I'm struggling to take these songs completely seriously. Maybe I've just outgrown the specific brand of badass girl crush, I don't know. It's also kind of a shame how underdeveloped both B-sides are. I think the single would have been stronger if instead of a 3-track single with 2 half-baked songs, the single album just had the title track and a really good B-side. That would have made me more excited about their future, hopefully longer releases. This just left some things to be desired. Like, there's a difference between your title track being the best or most attention-grabbing song in a release and your title track being the only good song. The Baby Monster comparisons to Bad Villain make a lot of sense to me. Both songs have very strong girl crush concepts with instrumentals so grand that they almost swallow up the rest of the song. Like with Baby Monster, I can't say that I can take the lyrics about being a bad girl completely seriously, but this song is definitely a lot less grating on the ears than Sheesh was. I like that the strings and keys are present for the whole song in some form. It makes it feel like the idea for the song was more fully realized than if they just came up in for the chorus drop. The drop does work really well, and I think the girls pull off what could be an incredibly cringy choreography moment really well. For me though, the best part of the song has to be the new rhythm we get for the outro of the song. As good as the main hook of the song is, the change-up is appreciated. As much as I like the verses of Batitude, I hate that chorus. The screechy sound, all that empty space, those distant yahos, it's just so awkward and uncomfortable to listen to. Especially when they make that screechy sound louder for the outro, it just gives me a headache. Thank God the song's just 2 minutes long. The final track, Plus 82, opens with the sound of banging doors and some very aggressive raps that border on comical. Unfortunately, the rest of the song's just more empty space after that. Like, what was the point? You can't have 2 songs this empty, just pick one to be your outro / B-side, or take the time to fully develop one of them. While we're here, I'll also discuss Hurricane, which was released as, I guess, a bit of a surprise towards the end of the month. I'm kind of confused by the choice to release another song separately from the debut single, but I like Hurricane more than the B-sides on their debut, so I'm not too mad. I like the high, stuttering beat, and I think the song so far has my favorite raps from them. The vocal layers and parts of the song, I kind of wish they were used a bit longer because they were really good. Overall, I think, honestly, my preference would have been Bad Villain as the title track, Hurricane as a B-side, and then if you really wanna, find some way to either combine Plus 82 and Batitude or fully develop them into an outro. I think that would have been a little bit better. Signature, Sweetie But Salty. As much as I miss Signature's noisy, quirky music from around their debut era, this summery, flowy music that they've been making with Smooth Sailing and now Pungdung is really nice as well, even if it does make it feel like the group is musically more focused on following trends rather than doing their own thing. Track 1, I Like, is chill and lighthearted, with a nice guitar in the background of everything as well as some strings and synths for certain parts. There's nothing overwhelming, just a nice summer bop. I get why this was the track to get an English version instead of the title track. It feels the most like a song that could gain some traction with a sped up version on TikTok or something. Music video and all of its shittiness aside, I do think that Pungdung is a pretty good title track. It's basically Smooth Sailing Part 2, which I don't necessarily mind. Both are nice summer bops, but I feel like this song does a better job of incorporating some more signature sounds, you know? The synths that appear kind of softly in the background of the chorus remind me a bit of what was in Aurora, which now clearly acts as a song that bridges their old and current eras. On the album, the song is basically a slightly more energetic version of I Like, for if you want to dance a little bit instead of just enjoying your time lounging in the sun. If Signature's new concept is just becoming Nugu Summer Queens, I'm not going to really oppose that. The final track on the single, Melody, is a sweet sentimental song, but the overall package is a bit rough. The chorus mixing seems a bit off and the general composition of the song feels uninspired. I get why it's here to add a bit more emotion to the single, but considering the current execution, it feels a bit pointless. Instead of giving an overall summary, I'll just quote my little sister, which is, "It was good, like, I liked it, but goddamn."
태양처럼 뜨겁게 사랑했던 계절이 어느새 돌아오면
Xia, or Kim Junsu, Our Season. Bro makes some good ballads, okay? There's some nice strings as the main attraction of the instrumental, supporting his vocals. Here, his voice doesn't come across as super strong or overpowering necessarily, but he's still really expressive and grabs your attention. The song also takes its time to let you enjoy each section instead of feeling rushed, which a lot of non-ballad K-pop songs could learn from. Just a great song for if you want a slightly more classical, maybe feeling song in the middle of your playlist, or if you're one of those people complaining about short songs and underwhelming vocalists. Junsu is not going to disappoint you in those regards.
Love or hate 쟤도 태워버리자 뭐가 됐든 게 확 뜨거워지자 마음이 같아서 제가 돼버린대도 네 지금 날 봐인 그게 나
High Key, Love or Hate. This was a mini album that I needed to listen to a couple of times to let it marinate, I guess, because on first listen I wasn't that impressed by it, but now I do like it quite a bit. The title track, Let It Burn, opens slowly, with heavy drum and bass behind the girls' vocals. It creates a very dramatic, intense feeling, and it really lets the anger of the song start to fester a little bit. I think the girls, especially Huiso, have pretty good voices for a pop rock song, but it feels like the chorus wasn't written quite for them. I think something feels a bit off. I wish they could sing it with a bit more power, because as it is, I feel like it doesn't quite live up to the hype from the verses. This is still a song right up my alley though, since I like pop rock, and I know that the people seem to be craving some female rage songs or whatever, which this definitely also delivers. I just need an emo core remix or something to be released where the song leans even more heavily into its rock aspects. With the B-sides, I'll start with Iconic because it's my least favorite. It's a chill R&B pop song and features maybe my favorite rap verse on the mini album, but I think it just doesn't stand out that much compared to the other songs. Love Letter is a song that's a lot gentler in sound, more synths and much softer delivery. It's just very floaty. It reminds me of some Only One Of and Triple F's B-sides. The song doesn't really go anywhere. I felt that it was a bit one note, but it was a nice note, you know? I still enjoyed listening to Love Letter a lot. My favorite track is Rainfalls. I was already looking forward to the song because I absolutely adore Hwang Hyun's work as a producer, so I was really looking forward to the song. Rainfalls is another R&B pop song like Iconic, this time slightly more upbeat, with some nice strings and guitar to bring up the energy for the chorus, after the quieter opening verse. It's just a really pretty rainy day listen, as the name of the song implies. So yeah, like I said, I think the songs were initially not that special to me, but as I listened to them over the course of the month, I came to really enjoy them.
지나쳐가는 stop sign 넘어야겠어 this time 멈출 수 없는 baby love 엉망이 돼도 I'm so fine 너만 있으면 there's better love
Even, Ride or Die. I really enjoyed this mini album. I think it was a nice switch up from Even's prior sound. I think it makes sense for the time of year, and also considering that Even is a temporary group, so they have less time to try out different things than other groups. The only real objection I have to this mini album is its title. To me, Ride or Die invokes a much stronger, more intense image than anything that was present on the album. It's a bit misleading, is all that I'm saying. Aside from that minor complaint though, this is really my favorite album from Even so far. I think they and their producers did a great job with this. Bad or Love, the title track, is a very sharp departure from Even's usual Itaewon Club bangers music and instead more horse girl, horse boy adjacent. It's definitely a good move for a summer song in my opinion. When it's this fucking hot, I don't want to imagine myself in a club crowded with people. The imagery evoked by the song, of frolicking in the field with the breeze, it's much better in my opinion. Seunghan in particular suits the song very well. I feel like the other members struggle a little bit, but not to a point where it makes the song harder to enjoy. Because of how different it is from their other title tracks, I have a harder time saying whether I think it's better or worse than what I did previously, but I definitely like it a lot, even if you see it at the bottom of the song ranking for this album. I Love You is a cute little acoustic R&B number. It's pretty chill, but nice to sway to in your seat or listen to while making breakfast. Just good vibes all around with a nice instrumental. XO is another song that's pretty quiet, but it's also pretty speedy, with this insistent beat that tries to pull the song forward. It's got another great instrumental with slightly more variety than the two songs that precede it. 2x, two times, is for me an example of a ballad or slower song that is well made and not boring to listen to. It's definitely very slow paced, but it's got a lovely instrumental that plays well with the vocals instead of just sitting behind them, and the soft singing style suits all of the members, even those with weaker skills. Boom Body is probably the most varied song on the album. The song is pretty low-key for most of its time, with the exception of those boom bodies at the very end of the post-chorus, where the instrumental beefs up briefly. I like the growing intensity, it keeps the song interesting. I loved the bridge as well, it feels like something I'd hear from an SM group. I wish it was slightly longer just so that I can enjoy it more. So yeah, overall, very solid mini-album. I think it's the first even album where I really liked all of the songs, which is definitely an achievement.
Side to side, up and down, 오늘 밤, let me make you my favorite. 느껴짐이 so dangerous.
Nicole, 5678. Some people may be tired of the K-pop disco pop trend, but I'm not. The song is fun to listen to, with a good groove and some strings and synths typical of the genre that I love listening to. This is by no means anything new or innovative for Nicole or for this genre, but it's still just a really fun song to dance to, and I cannot blame her for going for what works for her. I've been really obsessed with the song, it's been stuck in my head, and I don't know. It's been a little while since she's released an EP or something, hasn't it? I hope she does that next. Daesubin, Extra, and Muck. The two songs here were released as separate singles, but since they were released in the same month, I'll just talk about them together. Extra starts by tricking you into thinking that it's just going to be a ballad before it builds up to a drop that isn't too different from one of those 2010s YouTuber intros. Not a bad listen, but definitely a bit dated, although I do like that it tricked me. I could see it being a good festival song. Muck is great, in my opinion. I love the combination of rock and electro elements. The song uses its guitars mostly for the build-up of the song. It builds anticipation in the intro, and then they add tension before the big EDM drop, before finally adding intensity to the post-chorus with the guitars again. The song is very intense, with the guitars and synths competing to one-up each other in a way that really sells the song. Similarly to Extra, I feel like the drop does somewhat date the song, but I like what it's doing too much to care about that.
Boy, that is sabotage. Baby, you really know what's the deal. Oh, that is sabotage. 점점 더 깊어지는 맘을 깨어나 feel.
Kwon Eunbi, Sabotage. Sabotage, the song, has a persistent beat that carries the whole song forward. I feel like it's been a little while since we've had like a Euro pop song like this in K-pop, and I think this is a really good attempt at that sound. Eunbi's clear voice matches the energy of the song, and the entire sound of the song feels like a continuation of the Flash from last year. Control calms things down a little bit after the intensity of Sabotage. After the pre-chorus, I was kind of worried that the entire song would be sung in falsetto, which I don't think I would have enjoyed, but instead the chorus utilizes what sounds like her middle, upper, and lower range, which is very pleasant to listen to all combined. Bad Blood has some Latin pop elements that make it fun to listen to. Compositionally, I think I like it more than Unnatural, but her vocals in the pre-chorus and chorus feel a bit sharp to me. They're not as nice to listen to as on Unnatural, which lowers the song a little bit in terms of like my preferences, I guess. Overall, this was another really good project from Eunbi, but I hope that Willem finds the funds somewhere so that she can have a full-length album next. Or honestly, I'd be happy if she just had another comeback, like single, full-length album, mini album, whatever, because The Flash was released almost a year ago, and I don't know what the fuck Willem is doing with their finances. Kim Jae-jung, Flower Garden. This is just a really solid rock album. The length of the album allows him to touch on a couple of different moods and sounds without everything feeling mashed together. The title track, Glorious Day, is very grand and sound, with these rolling drums in the chorus and those big whoa-ohs you hear a lot in power pop. It's well made, but I honestly think that Good News would have been a better title track. It sticks in my mind more and has a more interesting composition in my opinion. The pre-release IMU I think would have also maybe been a better title track. It was released earlier in the month as a single, and it's got a very sentimental sound and does a great job at closing the album on a high note. It's like what you'd expect to hear at the triumphant end of a drama. In terms of B-sides, I had a lot that I liked. If I had to pick a favorite, I'd say at this time it's probably True Love, True Lies. It has a slightly more dramatic feeling. The verses build up well to the chorus, which hits with full energy from his vocals and the electric guitar and drums that come to the full focus in the instrumental. Dopamine is another song that I loved. It's another one of the more intense dramatic songs on the album. The guitar work to me is the highlight of the song. It really carries the vibe of the song the whole way. I'm sure there are other songs in this album with J-rock influence, but Dopamine is the track that really read to me as being more J than K-rock leaning, but that's just my own feeling about it. Concrete Heart builds its drama with its strong drumline as well, as expected, Jaejung's strong vocal performance. Good News, like I mentioned earlier, is in my opinion a really good contender for an alternate title track. It's a bright song with a strong guitar riff peppering the verses. The instrumental is very rich with a lot of details and layers combined with his great vocals to create a full sound. This is classic, feel-good, energy-boosting pop, and I love listening to it. I think the final B-side I'll talk about is Rain Shower. It starts off a bit calmer, but that bridge brings intensity to the song. There's some great strings in the song. Overall, Rain Shower has a slightly mournful mood that I didn't feel on any of the other songs, which is why I liked it so much. I think as a whole, this was a very great project to celebrate his 20th anniversary with. I really enjoyed listening to it.
Fall in love, I fall in love with you. 마음을 놔줘 내 품에서
Sunmi, Balloon in Love. This song feels sonically like a Heartburn Part 2. It's got that same slower start and generally softer sound, with the heat buried underneath the song rather than immediately on top of anything. The chorus is slightly weaker than Heartburn's, to the point that I almost don't notice it's happening if I'm not paying attention to the song. For me, the strongest part of the song is probably the pre-chorus, with the build-up from the electric guitar before the song softens again for the chorus. That guitar returns to boost the bridge as well and sticks around for the final chorus, which creates extra impact. The song definitely has that slightly older summer song vibe. Not something you'd play to dance to, but definitely something you could play in the car on a trip to the beach.
꺼져 I got no time for you baby 눈앞에서 꺼져 내가 등장할 때 너네 무대 불이 꺼져 모르겠다 그냥 죄다 제발 꺼져 관심 없어 꺼져
OnePact, Paradox. Less than a year into OnePact's career as a group, things have already been incredibly turbulent and uncertain, and you can definitely feel the built-up frustrations and desperation from all of that on the songs on the single. OnePact doesn't necessarily have my favorite musical sound of any 5th-gen boy group, but I love the feeling of honesty that I get from their music. Fuck Off, the title track, definitely utilizes the members' strengths as performers to its advantage. I feel like the 4 of them did a really good job with performances for the song, especially Yedam with that dance break for the song's intro. He killed that. Jay would have been so good on that pre-chorus. I hope we get an OT5 re-recording on the next project that all 5 of them work on together. The opening of the chorus is the only part of the song that I wasn't really feeling on first listen, but on repeat listens I think it works. It really carries that brash energy of the song really well. The best part of the song is easily that outro. The grand sound from the strings and the chorus in the background of the shouty raps is so good. The B-sides Deja Vu and Period are both very similar to me. I like them both about equally. The lyrics of Deja Vu feel very personal to Tag, and I'm proud of him for seemingly bearing himself like this for the world to see. Knowing the shit that he's been through, as well as the other members, to be at this point of his career, you can really feel the frustration and desperation in the song pretty well. This is a group song, but especially with that outro rap done entirely by Tag, you feel like this is his song specifically. Period is another song with very pointed personal lyrics from Tag. The song is a bit softer in sound than Deja Vu maybe, with a lovely chorus from Yeram and Sungmin. Overall, I really enjoyed this comeback, and let's just hope that the next one can be with all 5 members, but I know that can be complicated with their schedules.
You're gonna be my brain every time you see me 빠져 deeper deeper way ABC들 반복해 하루보다 난 가르쳐줄게
Nayeon, Na. The album is pretty similar in sound and style to her solo debut in Nayeon for the first part. The bigger departure from her debut was definitely in the title tracks. I think that if there was a bit more variety in the B-sides, the album would have been ranked a bit higher for me. It's kind of sad not to see Nayeon anywhere on the lyrics, but I know she's not one of the main lyricists of Twice, and I'm sure that she was involved in some other creative aspect of the creation of the album, so it doesn't really matter. My only real critique of ABCD the song is that the song uses the same overly strong autotune as Twice's other recent title tracks that makes the singing sound overly robotic and kind of awkward and inauthentic, you know? Other than that, the song is a certified banger. The chorus is incredibly catchy, and the pun with ABCD is cute and clever. This feels like a pretty natural evolution for Nayeon to go into following pop. It's still the same bright poppy sound, but matured. It feels like we're getting to see more aspects of her as an idol and performer, as well as a lot of nods to other main pop girlies, which I enjoy. The song is absolutely infectious, and I cannot stop listening to it, much like everyone else that I've seen. Haligali, produced by Lee Chan-hyuk, is probably my favorite song on the album. In general, I like Chan-hyuk's style as a producer and songwriter, so I was looking forward to this track, and I wasn't disappointed. The main piano line in the instrumental is cute, and there's also a pretty nice bass riff in the background of everything. The main metaphor of comparing a blossoming relationship to a game of Haligali is really cute and reminds me a lot of the kinds of metaphors that you can find in a lot of Akmu's more lighthearted songs. The song was therefore an instant favorite for me. Butterflies was also nice. It's a cute and casual pop song with nice English lyrics, and I felt very similarly about Something. Count It presents a slightly darker instrumental than the rest of the album, which is a welcome contrast. It's more of an R&B sound rather than the pure pop we get on the other tracks, which is why I liked it. Magic, featuring Julie of Kiss of Life, is a song that I feel kind of weirdly about. The song's cute and all, but it made me realize how much of a Disney Channel flow Julie has. That boss chick line was certainly a choice. It steps over the line from fun and unserious to just juvenile, in my opinion. That's not a read or anything. The sound and lyrics are just very Disney Channel pop style. It's very fun to listen to with the very sassy, spunky lyrics that I'm sure hits for the inner preteen girl in all of us. Heaven, the last song that I like the least, I guess, is more chill pop, but I think I'm not into how slow the chorus is. It's alright, I'm just not as in love with it. I do like how Nayeon and Samkin's voices sound together though. His verse is alright as a whole. I think, yeah, that's my main issue with the album. Since the B-sides don't have that much variety in sound, they're all reading as just very fine to me rather than as particularly good, which is not what you would want from an album that has such a bombastic title track. But I still think it's good pop. It's just not great pop as a whole.
Let's ride. 하늘이 넘어 fire, fire. 함께라면 그 중에서 let's ride.
NCT Wish, Songbird. I don't know why, but I expected this to be a softer song because of the title, but the direction they went in makes sense with the rest of Wish's other title tracks. I like the use of guitars. It gives a slightly more organic feeling to the verses to contrast with the chorus, which is the usual metallic electronic fare you'd expect from Wish's title tracks. The little background harmonies they add, especially in the verse, are really good to add richness to the song. It feels like that bridge is playing with me. The drums come in so slowly, like they're taking advantage of the energy of the final chorus. How dare they? It's really fun. I think this is the Wish title track that I liked the most on first listen. And then, as expected, the B-side, Tears Are Falling, is the one that's softer in sound on the single. The chorus of Tears Are Falling has this very specific feeling to it that I'm really annoyed that I can't pinpoint. It's something about the simple combination of the instrument and the, one vocal melody. I don't know, I need more time to figure out what specifically I mean, but I do really like what they're doing. I think, as a combination of songs, I preferred Wish, but I think I like the songs on Songbird individually more. And then, unfortunately, Hands Up is gonna be dead last. I do like it, but compared to what they've done, I think it's a little bit weaker. I hope their next project is an actual fucking mini album. I'm tired of these 2-song deals. But so far, what we've gotten musically, I have enjoyed.
I'm a zombie 막아져가지만 피었지 Love me, leave me 덕처럼 퍼지는 기억이
Everglow, Zombie. This is definitely the most conceptual and creative it feels like Everglow have gone, which is fun. After how basic Slay was, I was kind of worried that Everglow's return to releasing music would fail to live up to their pre-hiatus stuff, but this comeback completely revitalized my faith in the group's creative direction. It seems that they intended to return with a safer song to test the waters before they branched out and experimented a bit, which I can understand strategically. The metaphor at the center of Zombie the song is about being a zombie for love, is It's a really interesting take for a K-pop group to take. Conceptually, I can't think of any group that's done this particular metaphor in this manner aside from VIX. Like, obviously, other groups have done horror, but this specific comparison of becoming monsters for love feels a bit special. The song just crawls along to further that creepy, unnatural feeling. It's got this steady stomping beat that feels inescapable, like you're being consistently chased by this slowly but steadily coming zombie. The song doesn't really have any highlights for me, but the overall package is really strong. Colors feels like a more typical choice for an Everglow title track, especially after Slay. It's bratty and in your face and very easily danced to. The brass sample does feel like it dates the song a bit. I wouldn't be surprised if a draft of this song was in the drafts for Everglow for a while, but it's still a fun song, especially for Pride Month, which I don't think was the intended vibe, but you know, it's the vibe I'm getting. Back to Love is the most laid-back song on the single, with some round synths and a nice groove. It's just a nice song to play while playing Sudoku to wind down from a long day. At least that's when I've been playing the song the most. Overall, I was very impressed by the single, and I was so happy to finally see an Everglow song that I loved again.
내가 애쓰면 넌 나의 M이 돼줘 어떤 순간에도 너를 찾을 수 있게 반대가 끌리는 천만 번째 이유래 내일의 우리는 알지도 몰라
To Us, Summer Beat. This mini album is basically a perfect continuation of their debut, still youthful, still young and in love and fun, but with a warmer tone, more energy, and slightly fuller instrumentals, perfect for providing some summer jams. Me plus you equals a pun that I'm sure works in Korean is a cute little song. I love those little sections of the verses where they really strengthen the bass for the little rap parts. They're so fun and they add a nice character to the song. The rest of the song is also very upbeat and fun to listen to. Title track, If I'm S, Can You Be My N, is so good. I'm so obsessed with it lately. I was surprised by how quickly I fell in love with it, honestly. You can definitely hear in those synths that this is a continuation of the sound they had in Plot Twist, this time with some prominent bass and guitars in the verses, as well as a great pre-chorus that builds up energy incredibly well. The instrumental feels slightly fuller to me as well. I think I like it more than Plot Twist, so I hope that it receives at the very least the same amount of success that that song got. The vibe is the same though, still youthful with that first love feeling. Lyrics about twisted tongues and dancing outside windows really capture the simultaneous awkwardness and fun of first relationships. Hey Hey, the pre-release, is if the feeling of running through fields or on the beach with a group of friends in the summer was distilled down into a 3-minute K-pop song. The song has so much energy from its melody and the guitars and drums behind everything. I would love to lose my voice singing this song in the car or at a concert. Double Take is 2S's first foray into more typical boy group songs of the generation in my opinion. The repetition throughout the song makes it easy to remember, but it's not exactly my thing in this instance, so it unfortunately brings down the song for me. There's some fun stuff in the verses, and the beat change in the bridge was definitely a good choice, but the full product isn't doing anything for me, and it honestly just interrupts the flow of the album. Keep On is another sweet love song, with lyrics specifically pertaining to the warmth of summer. The song is pretty chill for the most part, but has pops of strong synths in the verses and pre-chorus. Fire Confetti is one of those songs with a fast beat that powers everything forward steadily in the verses without being super loud or anything. There's some nice summery imagery in the lyrics. I especially like the line, "Shattered starlight becomes the background" in the second verse. It's a nice track to wind down the energy of the album to bring everything to a close without bringing down the mood. So yeah, I loved this mini album, even more than I expected, because I did like Sparkling Blue a lot, but this is just like a perfect boy group summer album in my opinion.
We got that boom boom on my bass 좀 더 lower, lower, lower we want
Rising. I'm confused by the choice to have so many pre-releases. I get having Impossible, I think it built a lot of hype for the release. I'm honestly kind of happy that they included Talk Saxy and Love 119 because as someone who does listen to CDs, I like that we now have official physical releases of those digital singles. But pre-releasing One Kiss, 9 Days, and Honestly was a baffling choice. Like, why would you release the B-sides a month and a half before the mini album? They're good B-sides, yes, but this kind of stole a lot of the excitement I had for the album. All I had left to listen to by the time it was released was the title track. And unfortunately, the title track, Boom Boom Bass, was not the exciting main event I was hoping it would be. It's basically Get a Guitar Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. I really like it, but I don't get why it was released because it really is too similar to Get a Guitar. The structure and build-up is so similar, and the individual parts, the verses, pre-chorus, and chorus, are basically identical. The only part that felt a little bit unique was the second verse. Its flow and instrumental choice was different enough that I had new fun listening to it. It's still a good song, it's well constructed and fun to dance to. I'm just kind of baffled by the fact that it was ever released. I think it would have made more sense personally to make Impossible or One Kiss the official title tracks, because those two songs are distinct enough from Rise's other stuff while also being catchy enough to act as title tracks. I mean, every day I grow more and more obsessed with Impossible. SM does house music incredibly well, and I'm almost offended that they don't use it for title tracks more often. Honestly, if this song ends up becoming my most listened to song of the year, I wouldn't be remotely surprised. 9 Days grew on me a lot. Something about the melody of the chorus reminds me a lot of early One Direction songs, like something off of Take Me Home or Up All Night. The rap verse and some of the synth details are definitely more SM than One Direction, but the whole vibe is very 2010s boy band, which is an aesthetic that Rise is very clearly being pushed to fit. Honestly, is then Rise's first R&B song. As expected of an SM group, this song is excellent. It's got this slick, underwater-like feeling with an incredibly strong atmosphere. It's just a gorgeous song to listen to and lose yourself to. One Kiss is very third gen to me. I love the combination of strings and guitar in the instrumental, and the sentimental sound and lyrics just gives boy group excellence. I think it packs enough of a punch that it could have been a title track for the mini album, and I also think that the song better matches the vibe of the album as a whole than Boom Boom Bass does. I'll admit that I was once not a Toxaxi hater, but a Toxaxi critic. It's still not my favorite title track from Rise, but I've grown to really like it. Originally, I found the saxophone inclusion kind of dated, but within the context of this 2010s boy group revival mini album, I think the sound makes a lot more sense, and I think it provides some variety. The song is a lot more well constructed than I originally gave it credit for. Also, I am in fact a follower of that one Instagram account that posts Sohi's We're Good Okay every day. The song is the only OT7 song on the mini album, which both gives the song bonus points and also gives me a tiny sliver of hope for the future. Love 119 is another song that I've had to learn to love. I liked it originally, but found it a little bit boring and uninspired if I'm being honest. It's still the lowest ranked song on this album, but it's definitely not bad. It's sweet, you know, even if it's not doing anything special in my opinion. Overall, this is a really good mini album that is unfortunately sullied by a couple of factors: Seunghan's continued absence and the resulting fan resentment, which I completely understand, the choice of title track, and the fact that every song except for the aforementioned title track was pre-released.
Could you see me? Don't miss me 'cause you never did. How does it feel to watch it all fall down on me?
Say, Domino. The song opens with these gorgeous siren-like vocals, followed by just Say's voice with some overlay. Immediately, you're hypnotized by the song. The instrumental stays fairly simple, just a beat and some drawn-out synths for the verses. The real focus is on her voice, whether it's accompanied by strong overlay or left to draw you in by itself. The overlay sometimes comes in and out in succession, which creates strong emphasis on some words and makes the song feel almost religious at points. Her voice is also really good at carrying this sense of anger, betrayal, and sadness in it, to give you the sense that through this song, she's declaring that she will revenge herself on whoever hurt her. I love it. Kepler kept on going on. It took that fuck-ass company long enough to finally give them a full-length album, but you know what? I think it's a good album. I think it's a good note for them to go out on as a 9-member group. Accompanying that, I think Shooting Star was a really good choice of title track. It felt like Kepler finally rediscovered their space concept with Galileo, and now this song feels like it fully embodies that concept. It's obviously got some spacey visuals in the MV, but the song itself also has this floaty synth sound that I've come to expect from K-pop groups with cosmic concepts. It's just really pretty to listen to. The song also features a perfect K-pop rap, in my opinion. It's really fun to listen to, it's on beat and all that, and it doesn't feel like this song is brought to a halt just for the rap. The song is really sentimental sounding as well, which makes sense. It's a really nice closing note for their time as 9. I think, in my opinion, it's easily their best Korean title track, and I'm glad that they got to get a music show win out of it. Straight Line is still my favorite song on the album. That's Kepler's best song. I do not care. I'm not going to explain why. I think if you listen to it, you can just tell it's so fucking good. As for the B-sides, I really liked Problem. It's like a classic K-pop dance track. It's got some nice brassy synths, a good groove and melody, and it's just overall very fun to listen to. I can already imagine the kinds of choreography and outfits that would accompany the song, which is always a bonus. The fact that this wasn't promoted on music shows is an absolute crime. Double Up is also super fun. Maybe it's because of the title of the song. is so similar to Da Blast, the album where Up was, but this song reminds me of Up a lot. Like, if that song wasn't a title track, if it was slightly more laid back instead of going to 100. Double Up is still pretty fast and energetic, with some little chants behind the chorus to add energy. It's just a really fun summer K-pop song. Curious is really fun but still chill to listen to. It's got some fun video game sound effects behind the rap verse that add some character. The little acoustic guitar that they add to the bridge grounds the song for a moment before the soft electronic instrumental comes back. I think that's all the B-sides that I'll talk about. Overall, it was a very cohesive album. It felt very like it was looking back on their whole careers, which I really enjoyed. I'm just kind of sad that it took them this long to have an album that was this good as a whole, like title tracks and B-sides. Because for me, in their past releases, either they've had something like Up, where I liked the title track but I didn't care for the B-sides, or we have most of their other mini albums where even if I like the title track, I feel like it doesn't normally hold a candle to their B-sides. Here, it feels like every song was really worked on to work together, so that yes, the title track is the obvious choice for like promotions and stuff, but none of the songs are necessarily that much better than each other. I just really like the whole product together.
거침없이 take it up 막히는 건 break it up I just burn it up now I just burn it up
FD Island, Burn It. I love drama, I love vocalists, I love this song. I should really listen to FD Island more. That chorus that starts with just the bass, drums, and the raspy vocals is so good, and it scratches my brain so good. And I love when the first chorus of a song is so short. It really creates anticipation for a listener and basically teases them. Like, hey, we know this is good shit, and we know that 10 seconds isn't enough, but you're gonna have to wait to get more, and we know you'll wait. How dare you? It's so good. The bridge vocals from Jaejin are so much smoother and softer than Hongki's raspier sound. It really suits the little pause we get before the final chorus brings back the intensity. I mean, yeah, this definitely works as a pre-release. I am really fucking excited for the album that this song will be a part of. True, Strawberry Rush. Strawberry Rush is such a fun song. It's kind of video gamey and quirky, and it suits Chu's voice and general vibe as an idol so much. Also, here's an example of that slightly overbearing autotune actually working with the song. There's this slightly robotic effect from all the vocal editing, which to me enhances the kind of light sci-fi vibes of the song. The chanty rap parts are also really fun to listen to and to chant along to. It's just overall a great example of fun, cute K-pop that isn't sickeningly sweet. It's just a good time. It's also a great example of a K-pop song that I can't imagine being pulled off by another artist. It's just so perfect for Chu. Honeybee, first B-side, is a really sweet acoustic song. The song feels so delicate in every aspect, from the guitars, the stuttering beat, the barely there synths in the chorus, and of course Chu's high vocals in the chorus. Daydreamer is a slower track that crawls along a little bit with its steady beat. It's got some nice string details and almost bird-like synths, I think, way in the back of the verses. The song just fades out like it's marching off into the distance with its drums in tow. Lucid Dream is another more soft-sounding track, but a bit less delicate than Honeybee was. It starts off a bit more acoustic with a nice bass in the chorus to boost its strength a bit before the other layers of the instrumental appear in the second verse. Something about the song is just incredibly comforting. Chocolate has a bouncy beat and a bass to cause almost instantaneous head bopping. I'm not the biggest fan of the sassy rap in the second verse, but the rest of the song is just such a good time to listen to. It gets instantly stuck in your head and just hangs around in the background whenever I try to go about my day normally. It's pure synth K-pop and I love it so much. I definitely preferred this mini album over Chu's debut, which I did really enjoy, but this just feels a little bit more cohesive and a little bit like it has a stronger vision and concept, which I just enjoyed so much.
Give me your love, give me your love, give me your love, love. Give me your love, give me your love. Baby, can you give me that?
Wavy, gimme that. This is a really fun mini album featuring a catchy enough title track that showcases the members' charms, but the real gold's in the B-sides, which are varied enough that there's gotta be something here for any K-pop stan. Give Me That was a great choice of title track. Someone at Prison Center saw the praise that Pop in Love was getting and decided that Wavy needed to deliver older school boy band realness a second time, and that person is a genius. The song's instrumental mostly focused on the percussion, with some really soft synths in the pre-chorus and some brass that comes in for the chorus and rap verse. It's clear that the main goal of the songwriters was to create a catchy hook to repeat until the listener couldn't think of anything but the song, and I respect that. I will say, it is probably the least interesting of Wavy's title tracks. It just feels like it lacks some substance and it's a bit too short. I would have loved a dance break and a more built-up final chorus. It's still really fun though. Shea Wolf is my favorite song on the mini album, and I don't know what that says about me. I love Wavy for positioning themselves as hopeless prey for a pretty girl, cause as a woman lover, it does feel like that sometimes. Xiaojun and Ten's siren voices are so perfect to create a somewhat mysterious air to the second half of the first verse, and the bridge goes too hard. I love the intensity and drama of the outro as well. The chorus is a lot deeper and more intense than the verses, which I think works really well. It's like if Wolf by EXO grew up and had a glow up. She has a corporate job now and can't be quite as out of pocket, but still contains some beast. That sounds really cringy, but it makes sense to me. Might As Well is also a song that I thoroughly enjoyed. Hendry and Yang Yang's raps in the song are some of my favorites in Wavy's discography. It's not the most complex or anything, but it just sounds really good on top of that low bass. There's also some country vibes from that guitar that we got. I know this is technically a love song, but it does kind of give "This Town Ain't Big Enough for the Two of Us" vibes. I'm expecting a showdown, except the showdown is the love interests finally telling each other how they feel and embarking on a proper relationship. Also, I respect a love song with a might as well attitude to romance, because that's how I started dating my girlfriend as well. New Ride is a bit more of a chill song. It's got a nice guitar and stuttering beat accompanied by softer vocals from the members. Finally, Don't Get Mad is kind of a sleazy breakup song that is honestly exactly the kind of shit I'd expect from a boy band of the era that Wavy is emulating this comeback. Like, the speaker is simultaneously trying to communicate that he doesn't care that they're breaking up, that it's fine and all, while also making himself look like a complete loser because he is clearly a lot more broken up than the girl is. This is peak. This album was really good, yes, but also congrats to them for finally getting their first music show win. It's long overdue, and hopefully they can get one with Win-Win next time.
Hero, 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 you're my hero.
차디 전방을 아주 lover
Hero, 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 you're my hero. 사랑의 마법,
주비두비 love to you.
Akmu, love episode. I fucking love Akmu, let's get that so straight. I love how the heroes in the chorus of the song overlap slightly. Something about it just makes the song feel even more whimsical. It feels like the softness of the song conveys the shyness and uncertainty of the narrator, who wants to communicate their feelings to this person who means so much to them, who is their hero in a way, but can't they muster up the courage to speak out? The song strengthens a little bit in the bridge, which gives the feeling that the tension was finally released, the feelings were communicated. I don't know, it's nice storytelling for such a lovely song to listen to. Based on the lyrics, I'm going to assume that the D that's being referred to in long D is referring to distance. The other lyrics talk about how the speaker and their partner are close but feel far away. That's the basis of my assumption. The feeling is definitely something that I get. The singing style that they do together in the second verse, where their voices are kind of staccato and sound like they're popping in your ears, is really cute to listen to. The song sounds really sweet and lighthearted for how sad the lyrics kind of are. Like, this is not a fun point to be at in a relationship, romantic or otherwise, but the song is still so whimsical. Piece of Cake is pretty slow and calm. It finds the time to insert some literal cake eating sounds between the chorus and second verse, some comical talk rapping part in the second verse, and some French in the outro with more cake eating. Overall, it's a very slightly comical take on a relationship that's gotten kinda robotic and routine, but still sweet. Answer Me is a song I have nothing to say about. It's just a nice listen, like a standard Akmu song in my opinion. I feel like the accordion in the background of the final chorus creates a nice atmosphere for the end. The song Lovely was everywhere for a bit last year, so I'm sure a lot of people are kind of sick of it, and I get that. It's a sugary sweet love song with a simple melody that somehow manages to worm its way into your head regardless of whether or not you even like the song. I can get if people feel like it didn't deserve the amount of attention that it got. But I like the song. It's cute, it cheers me up, and it makes an excellent use of Soohyun's vocal tone and the fun bounce in Chan Hyuk's voice. It's not my 2023 song of the year, but I've so far enjoyed every listen, even if it's in the bottom of this mini album song ranking. Finally, my favorite song, Fry's Dream. The song is another case of Akmu writing a cheerful, upbeat-sounding song with lyrics that hit a little too close to home. Because why is a song with such a bouncy beat and cute little accordion in the background addressing the pressure people put on others to find some kind of dream to aspire to? Like, maybe having some grand aspiration feels worse than having nothing. Maybe I just want to drift a little bit instead of gunning for the top. Maybe the goals set up by society are just a trap meant to force people into labor systems that just serve capitalistic interests instead of the will of the people. I've definitely extrapolated a little bit too much from the song, but I like that it makes me spiral for a bit. For me, if I'm overthinking a song, that means it's good. Or really bad, but that doesn't apply here.
최악의 상황에 주먹을 뻗는다 몇 번이든 상대가 나가 떨어질 때까지 긴 감동과 눈물을 선사해주마 보는 이유하여금 절대 잊혀지지 않도록
Extraordinary Heroes, Boy Comics. This song, to me, is literally perfect. How the fuck did they keep doing that? I know I'm not the only person who immediately drew comparisons to their song Dreaming Girl from Troubleshooting. Aside from the fact that we now have a girl song and a boy song, although both songs obviously can speak deeply to people of any gender, both songs are also songs that I turn to automatically whenever I need some kind of comfort. Boy Comics is very fast-paced and features one of my favorite instrumentals from this group, with my favorite part of the instrumental being those string-like synths. I feel like they make the song feel grander and almost cinematic. I feel like the song really encapsulates that heroes part of their name, The way the lyrics frame the speaker as a lone fighter against the rest of the world, solely for the entertainment of some person behind a fourth wall. As comforting and exciting as the lyrics are to me, as a listener and a fan, they also feel like they speak towards the members' experiences as idols being viewed by the world and expected to provide hope to people that they'll never know personally. So yeah, the song is a very fun listen even if you don't look at the lyrics, and it immediately became one of my favorite songs from them, purely based on how good it sounds. But it's also a fun song to analyze a little bit deeper. The single also technically comes with a B-side, which is this short little instrumental track that feels kind of floaty. It's slow and spaced out with just those guitars, and I wonder what it will lead up to because I know that this single is part of an ongoing project for them, which I'm very excited for.
조금 더 머무르면 어때 나의 편이 조금 외롭대 아껴둔 노래 들려줄게 Love is cosmic I'm riding on your rhythm through the solar system Come with me
Red Velvet, Cosmic. Despite the mess surrounding this album's rollout, I do think it is an excellent mini-album. The project is very cohesive, with the main themes of the songs all combining to tell a story of a love that feels out of this world, cosmic. However, I do think a full-length album would have been better for a 10th anniversary project, but considering that their last full-length album, Chill Kill, was released less than a year ago, I understand the choice to go for a mini-album. The title track, Cosmic, is maybe my favorite title track of the year. It's definitely up there, along with, By My Monster, It's so good. It's one of Red Velvet's best as well. It opens with the bass guitar and drum set as the only instrumental, which I always go wild for. The synth that comes in with Wendy's voice for the pre-chorus is so pretty. The chorus throws the listener into outer space with the synths from the pre-chorus combined with the verse's bass and some new strings. The slightly disconnected vocals in the post-chorus really cement that out-of-this-world feel. As a whole, the song feels like it's starting out grounded as the speaker first realizes her feelings for the love interest, then gets more fantastical as the love gets stronger. Through this love, the speaker and the romantic object are no longer tethered to reality and can explore a new dimension or something. For some reason, Sunflower was my least favorite song on first listen, and then on second favorite, it was in contention to be my favorite song. I don't know. The pre-chorus takes a little bit of time to build up, but I love it so much. And the chorus has a similar spacey feel to Cosmic from the synths and the group singing, but the song feels a lot heavier and slightly stompier from the strong beat behind everything. Something about it just became so addictive to me after the second listen. Last Drop's chorus features that Red Velvet group singing that I love so much. They've just got such a lovely combination of vocals that makes any song feel extra dimensional and magical in a way that no other K-pop group comes close to, in my opinion. The song is a softer take on the cosmic love concept, with less force or strength in the instrumental or vocal delivery, but just as much feeling and magic. This is definitely my favorite song on the album, one of my favorite Red Velvet songs of all time. It just really transports me somewhere else. Love Arcade fills the obligatory quirky quota for a Red Velvet album. The melody of the chorus is pretty simple and catchy, but it's got these little warps in the instrumental that make everything feel deliberately a little bit off-kilter. Bubble is more starry, spacey synths with some group singing, creating a magical feeling. I love the lyric at the end of the chorus, red cheeks illuminated by the sunset, I want to talk in your ear. It feels so intimate. The song is full of these lyrics that coat the whole song in a fuzzy layer of nostalgia. Night Drive is the final song, and it once again includes soft synths and sentimental romantic lyrics. The softness and slowness of the whole song creates a sleepy, dreamlike feeling that I think works so well to close the album. This really was just, I don't know, this is like, I was so happy when I finished listening to it. Like, I was laying down in bed for the first listen, so much so that I had to stand up so that I could sit back down again to like really let the shock of such a good album sink in. I don't know. I have really high expectations for Red Velvet, and they are almost always met. I fucking loved Chill Kill. I bought a copy of it. I had to go hunting for it while I was in Germany, but I finally found an OT5 copy of Chill Kill, and I'm so in love with everything they do, and yet somehow this mini album just feels so special. I don't know, maybe it's because it's still new and it's just like glowing with that newness feeling, you know? Maybe it's because it is the 10th anniversary mini album, but this just felt so well put together. Like, you can really tell how much love went into it from the people who wrote the songs and of course from the members who performed them. This is just such a great ode to what Red Velvet does incredibly well. We get to see the synth work that they're known for, we get to see some R&B elements that they're known for, the group singing, the concepts. It's such a perfect comeback. I am absolutely in love with it.